All right, good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with the 50th episode of our first run through Book of Hours. A little more organized than I was on Monday, as is a bit of a tradition, but plenty to get through from Monday's episode. So, one of the first things we want to do is read the Kukurbit prisoner records. Now, that is waiting on the arrival of an Earth sign. The other thing I would like to do is level up sights and sensations. Now, if I recall correctly, I wanted to use the Arab, yes, because we've got 30 seconds here. So we read the description for the gatehouse again, but what we're going to do here is we're going to look at all of the different items inside of the rooms, and much like the stream that I do, I'm going to go vertically through the house unless we wind up, if we wind up catching up with the other parts of the house, I'll change the rules around there. But in this case, let's start with the items on the ground, at least as many as we can, and that means the night sky chair. So, investigate the object. You won't use this up or consume it by doing this. I also learned how to handle my laundry. We'll take care of that later, but that's another thing I learned. And I think, given where we're at right now, I am inclined to letting... I'm inclined to let Mr. Kill... I'm going to use him at the very end of the day. I do want to try and generate some memories just on the odd chance that it's relevant for sights and sensations. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I think in my view, it's worth it, because I don't know, I think... it's a level, I think it's going to be level 3 by the end. I'm sorry for the mic sounds there. I was just about to knock over the stand. But yeah, it just, in this case here, keeping Douglas around a little bit longer, that might have some effect in terms of the talk verb tomorrow. But the thing is I don't have a Solomon's preparation to use with Mr. Kill, so in this case, there's nothing, I'm not really trespassing on any memories that I would be normally getting. So... let it clutter up their shelves. This has improved their aspects appropriately. So we'll collect him there. We'll just talk at this point. Coffin maker's assistant, a tamer of trees, a worker of woods, a consigner of cadavers. He has also been known to try his hand very diffidently at poetry. Mr. Kill, Ryan Spry, doesn't mind stopping for a gossip. As an aside, this may not be obvious to people, but if you're ever stuck in terms of some of the special things that you can do, so I think for some it may be a surprise that I could give wood to Mr. Kill, because you can't necessarily do that with the other assistants. And particularly when you get the special assistants, it's very helpful to click on the collaborate button here, because again, whenever you click on an empty space in Book of Hours, it will tell you the different aspects that it will accept. So in this case, element of the soul, beverage, memory, sustenance, and tool are something that should be accepted by anyone, but in the case of Mr. Kill, he will accept wood as well. And that's true for Denzel, Mrs. Kill, and Reverend Timothy now. I think Mrs. Kill was an exception in the sense that she wouldn't take other things, but I believe there were that changed a couple of updates ago. As always, you never know how a game's going to change over the course of the life of a YouTube video, so the best thing you can do really is just take a look at the aspect, or you can just take a look in the empty slot, and that'll let you know for whatever version of the game you're playing what it will accept. And that's been true since the previous game, Cultist Simulator. So what we're going to do here is just have a chat with him, because we've already got the 9 winter that we need to be able to unlock the room that we wanted. And here we're just seeing if we can get extra memories that we can either take through us through the night, through sleep, or that we could use to upgrade sights and sensations. And in this case here, I am definitely willing to restore a Faust in order to level up sights and sensations. So this is mostly a costly day for us, but that's the reason why we take the time to earn the money. All right, Wrapped in the King, detailed accounts of secret bacchanals and ecstatic dances observed in necropolises and graveyards in southern Europe, in Egypt, and in Anatolia. The author is a self-confessed ghoul, an eater of buried flesh. He claims to have witnessed the dances while at his feasting. The dances draw from the traditions of the mysteries, the cults of Isis and Sybil, but includes both symbolic and literal flayings, and the human heart is always central in the rites. The author punctuates his accounts with queasily sensuous descriptions of his own interrupted feasts. At these greater feasts, a black pig is always crowned as king before its slaying. On this occasion, its heart was weighed in the balance against a knot of feathers, and its skin became a cape for the officiant. Its flesh was left for the crows, but I must confess that my interest was not in its carcass, but in the perfumed flesh of the milliner laid fresh in the earth. So that's going to unlock the Kukurbit prisoner records for us, hopefully. So I've got the Night Sky Chair, velvet smooth as midnight, a sometime seat of the secretary enigmatic of the Curia, whose responsibilities and even identity was not widely discussed, but might conceivably have been once called CC. Alright, so what we're going to do here, we'll go to Natan's no, not Natan's desk, because we want nectar, so we're going to go to Abbess Nona's desks here. Abbess Nona, apothecary, scholar, dancer. We'll use health. We'll take the Kukurbit prisoner records, 1927. We will get assistance from the earth sign, the rites of the roots, and then we will add the kitchen bowls for luck. Cake time. So what we're going to do here, we're at 10 of the 12, so the hope in this case is that we're going to be able to use memory or weather. If that doesn't happen, then we're probably not going to get the Kukurbit prisoner records, but in this case I think it's a risk that's worth taking. We don't always get this weather, and so as a consequence we may have a better chance than on other times. So nectar, a hedge of thorns, perhaps. And as always, I need to be a little careful because I do tend to forget about books, particularly ones that are in unusual places. Now, we are about to get the whist back, so in this case I will use the consider verb there. We're not gonna mess around with the Arab. Better now. I probably need to make a decision about whether or not I want to try and restore an element of the soul and the sweet bones. I'm inclining towards no, but we'll see. Let's take our sights and sensations, and in this case, so Sky Stories moves down. Surgeries and exsanguinations does. Oh, there we go. Let's apply the whist. Just the bittersweet certainty here. Well, unless Mr. Kill. Yeah, let's go for it. I think I'm going to be a little bit of a wuss. I'm not going to go for the sweet bones quite yet. Okay, that makes it tempting. I can't sleep on it. Let's see what happens in 30 seconds. Well, no, I got to make a decision now. So let's I will bring in the Faust. And the problem here this is a rather foolish choice that I'm making here, but I think I am going to risk afflicting one of the other texts. So let's read the Moon's Egg. Ah, but what desk do I read it at? Because the consider verb is currently occupied. Okay, do I have a more clever way of getting around this? I don't believe there are any objects I can inspect here to get sky or winter. This will take any old element of the soul. If I take... Oh, yes. So I could do a Savage Hymn or a Cheerful Ditty, both of which will give me Sky. There we go. So I was justified in using... I was justified in restoring the Faust. Oh. I almost made the same mistake that I did before. So, this has actually turned out to be a pretty good day for us. We were able to level up both... Well, we will be able to level up both Sights and Sensations. The skill is now level 2. Its power aspects have also increased. And as long as... We should also have enough time to figure out whether or not we're going to make it through the Hedge of Thorns. And at this point, I think maybe it makes sense for us to deploy Mr. Kill. I do have a memory that I can take now. Dead men don't tell no bloody tales. Well, who'd listen? And this will give me a chance to talk with D.I. Moore, so let's do that. Alright, the Veiled Chamber. This has long been a very holy place, too holy to be left untended safely for this long. There are 77 candles, and each one burns with a chill blue flame, each flame inhabited by a watchful spirit. I should not enter until each flame has been cleansed or extinguished. So we'll use Mr. Kill for that. Let's have a chat with D.I. Douglas Moore. Alright. Just a reminder, this is the affair of the particular mystique. The Suppression Bureau has a growing interest in the Suppression Bureau has a growing interest in the recent fad for unconventional, often prophetic, religious movements. No laws have been broken. Nothing sinister has come to light. All these movements are comfortingly solar in nature, but there does seem to be something going on. Lot of new churches and funny little sects out there at the moment, librarian. We don't mind when they preach virtue, take a sharp interest when they promise hidden truth. And anyone starts talking about immortality, well, can't have that, can we? There's laws and laws and laws. One of the laws is that there can only be so many long in the world. It's mostly much higher ranks than me enforcing that one. Much higher. But I've been asked to look into it. So, trying to find a lantern book with as much mystery as their lantern interest. My preference would be to give them a 4-lantern text, but I may not... Well, come on, Bancroft Diaries, surely. There we go. Oh, but he doesn't know Latin. Okay... I may have to settle for Locksmith's Dream and Cursus. These are edge ones. Yeah, I'm actually a bit short on Lantern, it looks like. Presumably, if this was a lower level Lantern text, I would have read it by now. And these are all the too difficult to read area. Oh, hang on. Yeah, these are all languages that I don't understand. So yeah, let's just do one more check. So Bancroft Diaries would have worked, except that it's in Latin. Locksmith's Dream 5 is a little higher than I want, but probably my best bet. I thought there was another Tantra that I had that was Lantern, but I'm probably wrong on that. Oh, Deoris. Nope, Deoris. Well, also Deoris is Latin, so same problem. Okay, well, Locksmith's Dream it is. Yeah, it's all looking a bit longer. More long means more Neuric hazard, more devouring spirits running around, and sooner or later, more crime of the sky. I don't know if you know what that is. I wish I didn't. It's not incidentally, it's not like a hard rule for me that I always give them the lowest value. It's just mostly that if his value is going to be going up by 1 each time I send him a book, in particularly when he only knows Greek, my worry is that I run out of like I get him up to a level where I've run out of text that I can give him. But in this case here, you know, I should be finding more books, and I should be unlocking. Unlocking a little bit more over time. So we'll see where it goes. I'll live with what I've been given. Now, we don't have anything else that we're able to collect for today, so my choice is I can bring a foresight, an intuition, or a touch through night with me. And you know what? Let's not miss out on the opportunities. So we've got extra effort soul. There's nothing that would have worked for that, and we do get the memory, but I gotta be really sharp on that. So I am gonna wait and see if there's something relevant to the book I'm reading. So we're just gonna hold off on bringing a memory through the night with me. Pom-de-pom-de-pom, ba-dum. Better now. So, we're going to take Sights and Sensations, our Faust, and we can bring the Lesson, the Cheerful Ditty, and the Hindsight together to level that up. I'm no expert, but I'm no dabbler either. Now, that doesn't have any bearing on the Kukabit Prisoner records. We just need to wait out the 2 souls to add the memory. There's still a chance. And again, if I'm lucky, we still get the heart back as well. Okay, we'll check that out when we can. This skill is now level 3. Its power aspects have also increased. And we've got a bronze spintria for that. So we're up to gold. D.I. Moore was mostly concerned that cults might be a breeding ground for Long, and so increase the incidence of the crime of the sky. Let's get back to Nona's desk just in case. Again, I'm very nervous about overlooking the opportunity, so there we go. We're getting close to the end of the night, so I'm probably going to want to lock in a choice before too long. Like I said before, I do want to see how far I can go. Nope. Let's keep the intuition. Memories fade, assistance departs, but the soul is refreshed. So that means that I'm down my health for today, but I think the fact that I was able to get the Kukabit Prisoner records read is kind of reward enough for me today. So we'll see how the day goes. A little bit of this is going to depend on, you know, do I want to use the Arab to check out some more, elements inside of the rooms and such. I don't mind waiting a little while to just see how this all turns out. Nectar full flower. It's a foggy day, so this is actually a nice opportunity for us. 3 knock, 3 moon is not something that comes by often. Okay, Kukabit Prisoner Records, 1927. Accounts by Governor Collar's private secretary of interventions and experiments in the last years of the Kukabit prison, focusing particularly on prisoners he believes might have Carapace Cross lineage. 2 prisoners suspected of oniric crimes are encouraged to access their inner Carapace Cross tendencies and develop the attributes of the Segla's kind, sickle-formed pseudocrustacea. Regrettably, they lose the ability to breathe air, and one dies, and Collars releases the other into the sea. Collars describes how he successfully induced an unstable carapace larva to develop into a greater form, using insects and nectars techniques in the context of considerable moth aspect. He hopes that similar techniques might be used to expedite the moral development of prisoners. So, that is noteworthy because of our little friend here, chimeric larva, approaching the chrysalis crossroads. So that gives us impulse and 2 insects and nectars lessons. Good lord. I am out of overflow for impulse, so what we're going to do, we're going to divide that over 2 shelves now. Now the problem here is I need to think about... None of these really scream impulse to me here. So I'm going to have to figure that out later. Yeah, we'll settle for this for now, but I'm probably going to need to figure out a better system at some point. Okay. But this does give me an idea in terms of what I want to be spending my time on. So first of all, do we have insects and nectars? We do not. So that's good news for us here because we use the 1 lesson to get it, and then we can use the Western Gryrid Arab to connect the nectar, or sorry, as the nectar element to level that up. So start here, use this lesson to acquire a new skill. Now moving on, let's think about how we can use the fog for today. So we've got On the Winding Stair and Cardea's Delights, and without, I don't even want to spend any time. So sometimes you can, work this out in your head. For me, it's just, at this point, it's just as easy to stack the books together, see what's possible, and take it from there. So we have the Shapt. There is no knock item that we can add in here. I know this came up a little bit earlier, so I should be careful about this. When I say there's no knock item, what I mean is the tool. So there are some items which can be added in here, but the tool is the one that's replaceable. And I know this was covered before, but just again, for the benefit of people for which this may not be clear, the Hush House key does have knock aspect, but the important part about it is that it is a thing and it is a key, but it's not a tool. And that is distinct from something like the Barren Silence Astrolabe, which is a tool in addition to being a comfort and have sky aspect. So the other option that I have is ink. I don't think I have a knock ink off the top of my head. I know Perniculate is edge. And I will confess, generally, I don't really use inks when reading books that much. I probably should use them more often, but I also, when I read my own books, I don't add marginalia. I get very annoyed by library books when people have written in the margins, especially because they're never as smart as the person writing them seems to think they are. But that's a separate complaint. Okay, so Edict's Liminal is my best bet here. So that takes us up to 9. Again, the one thing I want to reflect on is... Oh yeah, see, here's the tricky part about this. This isn't all that impressive, because if I bring in a pattern, I could do the exact same thing. So maybe what I want to do is see if I can use this knock or this moon to create something that I couldn't otherwise. I'm not opposed to reading Cardea's Delights or On the Winding Stair. It's just that, again, 9 out of 8 indicates that I was already able to make this. So next thing we're going to do is just take a look and see if there's a moon text. While I'm at it, what scale aspect do I have? Okay, Sickle and Eclipse seems to be my best moon, so I can get 7, 8 out of that. Scale looks pretty bad. Okay. But yeah, this is the time I want to take a look at any moon stuff. Secret colors is a bit much to ask. And I'm assuming these are all in languages I don't understand. And I was mixing stuff up for a little bit that... Oops. Okay, so this looks more or less in order. Okay, so the only other thing I can see using the fog for would be crafting, but it would not be a bad idea. Also, I got that wrong. So Desires and Dissolutions is my higher moon. So that's 8 with Desires and Dissolutions, 9 with Tryst, 10 with the lunar globe. Does that? No, that does not change anything for the secret colors. Well, sorry. Once more. 10. No. 9. Okay. 1 from Tryst. 6 when we add Desires and Dissolutions. 8 when we 8 when we add a different memory. 9 when we add the tool. 12 when we add the fog, which means we would need 2 for the secret colors. Okay. I don't know why it took me that long to figure it out, but your streamer is a very slow individual. So let's... Now I don't have the Nocturnary, which is down below here, so I don't think I have that many moon crafting tables. Oh, and I was going to read the Chancel. Should probably get on that. Okay, the Chancel of the Abbey Church. The Church of the Unconquered Sun acknowledges only a handful of hours, the Sun in Rags, or Splendor, the Menascate, the Madrigad, and the Watchman, and reluctantly, the Wolf Divided. Any other so-called hours must be lesser powers, wicked impostors, or superstitions. So the Church denies 2 of the 3 hours of the Chancel, and yet it's the Chancel who are said to determine which of their peers qualify as hours. That's theology for you. Abbot Geoffrey decreed that all 3 should be venerated in this holiest of rooms. To avoid actual heresy, he would not permit any of the 3 to be named. That's theology too. So we got 4 books out of that for cataloging. I suppose at this point I can't catalog with my afflicted element of the soul, because then I'm just going to pass on the fun. Yeah, I actually have quite a bit to do now that I think of it. So, and then we have an Ichor Vitreous and an Ichor Auroral. Shrine the Chancel. We do not name these hours, but we acknowledge that together they are the Chancel, the Cruciate, and the Road. So this has Moth, Winter, and Edge. Also wanted to double check something here. So the Watchman's Shrine here is decorated with the Eye Elegabline, a controversial variant of the Watchman's Eye. The Elegabline rites have always had a shaky doctrinal status. It would not often be seen, of course. These stairs were reserved for the choir monks that sang the Liturgy of the Hours, the only ones permitted to enter the chancel. Still, it's a little surprising that the eye was allowed to remain when the monastery was dissolved and the aisle given to the dwarfs. Okay. What do I want to do? Cataloging for sure. I'm a little weirded out. It's been a while since I've needed to use some of the other crafting stations. So I'm going to take a quick minute here and review the crafting stations. This may mean that we just need to get on with the crafting in the next episode. Oh, I also didn't appreciate how much U-Blank I have. But yeah, so this doesn't work in terms of moon. Mirrors don't work. I would be shocked if we had moon in the in any of the solar altars, but I've been surprised before. Oh yes, the sunset harp. obviously we have desks as an option, but I want to leave that aside. Okay. No surprise there that the foundry doesn't do anything. Kitchen range, I think I do. There is a place where I can do something, but not the above ground kitchen range. There is something equivalent that I can work with. Okay, dispensary doesn't help me. Oh, the necropsy table, I always keep forgetting that one. But no, that one doesn't help either. So it's really, it's Ava's desk. Ah, the telescope. I keep neglecting the telescope for Moon, even though it's an obvious one. Okay, so what I want to do here, basically, is... Oh, right. No, hang on. That doesn't make sense at all. Ah, it's changed. So I actually need to make something through this before I can take advantage of it. Well, okay, so let's take the FET and Pearl and Tide, maybe? So I can craft a salt sign just to free this up for other construction. Are there any other alternatives? I mean, I'll do it if I have to, but... Yeah, that's my best bet here. Well, that or Faust and Sky. Watchman's Paradoxes. That'll give me Tangle Brag, which doesn't excite me. Some from Sights and Sensations. Awakened Feather. We will get quite a few of those over the course of the playthrough, I think. Glazier and Lightsmithing will give me a deer... Oh, okay, that will actually help. So craft an optical device. Glazier and Lightsmithing with Prentice level lantern creates a Deer Day lens. Or of a Scholar level recipe, if I add glass, I can distill a more potent lantern liquid. So this isn't necessarily because I need it. This is because I'm able to craft it. I want to be able to unlock more out of the telescope. So that's just a feature of the way the game works. You need to cycle through. You need to use a table to get its updated abilities. Also, I've got... No, this is Moth, not Moon. Right. Okay, so basically what I want to try and do here is use Desires and Dissolutions to play around and see if I can combine some items. So the Sunset Harp isn't terrible. I can add the Tryst here, and then the Fog. But the problem here is that right now the inspiration is empty because I don't have any other moon to work with. So it's nice to know that I've got the Midnight Mark and the Witching to Sane. But if I could do something... Well, actually, let's use the desk as an example. So if we go to Ava's desk with the Tryst, the Fog, and Desires and Dissolutions, and then we add the Lunar Globe. So this is a case where I'm able to add 10 moon. So in this case here, we go to the Midnight Mark, concentrate Nocturnal Resonances with a careful sigil, Desires and Dissolutions with Prentice level moon creates Midnight Mark, or for a Scholar level recipe, if I trace the mark on wood, it will burst into strange fruit. So I do in fact have some wood, some surplus wood, that is. So I don't think it will work on this bench here. Yeah, because it won't take the moon or grail. And I don't know if I have any wood that gives moon. But this is an example here where it would make sense if I did have a different crafting station that would allow me to add in different items. Then potentially I'm able to unlock a few recipes just for record keeping purposes. I don't want to spend like all day doing that sort of thing, but things like Desires, Dissolutions, Sickle and Eclipse, just being able to find out a couple recipes and see if maybe that's something that I want to pursue to improve my capabilities would be nice. As far as the rest of the day is concerned, I think it's very clear that I can make something happen with the Noctex, so getting patterns in is the next obvious step. Really, what I just need to do is pick an element of the soul to generate the memory out of, and then what we'll probably do is a bit of gardening. We will What else? We'll do the gardening. I'll take a look at whatever objects I can once my consider is done. We'll try to open the package, and then of course I want to, I'll probably catalog the books before I consider other items. Maybe now is the time for me to heal up my affliction. But one way or the other, we can make this stuff work out. I am spending so much more time on this than I wanted. Thank you everybody for watching. I think we have a pretty clear idea of where the playthrough is going. I just need to figure out the order in which I'm doing things, but all of that will be sorted out tomorrow. Until then, take care.